Hello YouTube, Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's video. Today is Tuesday, November 16th. It is in the middle of Q4 and I've had some technical problems the last couple of weeks, but finally getting things back rolling, and I have a lot of video content that has been on my mind that I want to share with you. Today I'm going to share with you a complaint that I got from a buyer about the authenticity of a product that I sold on Amazon FBA that I purchased on Walmart. Now I did online arbitrage, so I purchased it and had it delivered to my house, and I'm going to walk you through some of the things I did and some of the things that were not good, some of the things that were good, some of the little tricks that I picked up along the way. And my hope is that, I shouldn't say if you get a complaint, but when you get a complaint, that maybe some of these tips will help you out, or at least help you out to prevent complaints or be organized so that when you do get them, that you have the ability to answer them and work through them as quickly as possible. So thanks for joining me. If you learn anything in this video, please give me a like. And if you're not a subscriber already, I would love to have you on my channel. Let's dive. Amazon's main form of communication for these types of things is going to be sending you an email. You can also find that email in performance notifications in your Amazon seller board, and your Amazon account health dashboard will also have them. Now sometimes I will get an email and it will take a day or two for the account dashboard to populate, and sometimes it takes a day or two for it to unpopulate. Usually it unpopulates pretty quick though. So you want to pay attention to these emails because sometimes they're just kind of like hey, we need you to follow up. Sometimes they can shut your account down completely. You don't want to ignore them. So make sure they're not going into your spam, and you are checking these things regularly. This is what the complaint looked like. We have received a complaint from a buyer about the authenticity of a product that they ordered from you, which is listed at the end of this email. Your listings are still active. And then it goes into, why did you receive this email, and their policies, which you can click and read their policies. That's always a fun read, isn't it? A buyer complaint can come to you based off certain things. This one was feedback related. So the buyer submitted negative feedback, and that negative feedback didn't show up in my feedback till about 3 or 4 days after I had received this complaint and already, handled it and moved on. I was unable to get that feedback stricken, which is ridiculous, and I'm a little salty about it because I tried all sorts of different ways and Amazon just kept saying no, it's correct, and I'm like, no, I proved that my product was authentic. Anyhow, that's a different video, different thing, but my point is that it could be on your feedback and you may not see that feedback for a few days. You can also have when people return things, like I had, this was years ago, I had a pair of Underarmour sweatpants. I think it was Underarmour, it was Nike, one of the two, that got returned, and the customer returned it, and their reason was the material feels a little fake. It doesn't feel as thick as it should be. And that flagged me for a buyer authenticity of a product message. So you're going to need to look into some of those. I don't believe voice of the customer has ever resulted in authenticity. It's going to be something that they physically write in their feedback or in their return. And if they use the word authenticity, fake, knockoff, those are all words that will flag this type of message. So sometimes you can track it down on where that complaint's coming from and the exact location. Sometimes you can't. In the end, it doesn't really matter because you're still going to have to deal with this. What happens now? Your listings are still active. However, to remove the violations from your account health dashboard, please provide copies of the receipts, the invoices, or receipts from your supplier issued in the last 365 days for the ASINs listed at the end of the email. Okay, this is important. If you are ungating is a different beast. You need invoices. For product authenticity from customer complaints, invoices or receipts will work. For brand authenticity complaints, usually only invoices will work. I've heard some people use receipts and get it off their account, but recently there's been kind of a crackdown and it's really difficult with receipts. If you are trying to do this from a store such as TJ Maxx, Burlington, Ross, etc., where the receipt is going to show a different UPC number than what the UPC number is for the ASIN, you're going to need to have a photo, take a picture of both the UPC and the tag that, the Ross tag or whatnot that shows the number, so that you can link the UPC to the tag to the receipt to show chain of custody. Okay. They also ask, please include the contact information for your supplier, including, I spell it out right here, name, phone number, address, website. Okay. When Amazon gives you specific things to spell out, you're going to want to spit that back out to them in your appeal or your submission. You're going to want to say, here's the information about my supplier requested, name, put the name, phone number. I'll show you that in a bit. But you're going to want to word it exactly on how they're doing. You don't want to get cutesy. This is not the time to write a nice English essay about how your customer was full of it, and have some flowery words in there. You're dealing with mostly people that probably English is not their first language. Flicking through these types of things, they've got a quota to make, and so you want to be as precise and easy as you can on them. You may remove pricing information, but the rest of the document must be visible. For ease of our review, you may highlight or circle the ASINs under review. I highly recommend highlighting or circling. For omitting pricing, I don't omit the pricing. I don't care. I've never ever had it really kicked back in the last 3 or 4 years. I did have it kicked back in like 2015, 2016 for pricing, and all I did was I went and I removed the pricing, resubmitted, and it was fine. So I don't do the pricing omission at the moment, but hey, if it's not working, you need to try everything possible. The other thing that I have heard helps if you're getting, you're just getting stonewalled and getting kicked back, is to take the document, flip it upside down so that somebody has to open it and flip it back right side up, and then that way it's not going to get kicked back automatically by the bots. You can only send in PDFs, JPEGs, PNGs, or GIF files, and they must be authentic and unaltered. I can't stress that enough. If you take somebody else's invoice or whatnot and try to mess it up, their technology can figure that out. It's not like you're trying to put one over on a clerk that's making $15 an hour. You're trying to outsmart robots, and it's just not going to work. Yes, these are lengthy videos because I want to go into kind of all the little aspects of things, because there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts to these types of issues with Amazon. Last part of their email, it says, how do you send in the required information? You basically have to do it through your account health dashboard. It used to be that you could email, they had a bunch of different emails. It was like notification-performance@amazon.com, etc. And you could email them. You can't email them anymore. They have phased that out over the last year or so, and that's why I like to go into detail on my videos here, and also make sure you know what the time is. It is November, 16th, 2021. So this information is up to date as of today. Next year, it might be something different, but emails, it used to be that you could do the account dashboard and email them. Before the dashboard, it was just emails. So if you're watching older videos, you need to know that sometimes they get outdated. Things change, right? All right, let's see here. This was the item in question. Inauthentic gives me the ASIN, the Pioneer Woman Timeless Beauty 7-piece melamine measuring cup set. So I was a little shocked. I was like, how could a measuring cup be inauthentic? This is ridiculous. Like, who would make fake measuring cups? But I can see if somebody was used to a particular type or quality, and I have seen this across the boards where other brands are making things a little bit cheaper to not increase their price. So they're cutting corners to maintain their price, and that's just probably what happened. All right, but now we've got an ASIN to look at and this. So you could take this ASIN and you can go look up, your voice of the customer. You can look up your returns. You can look up your reasons for returns back on the report side of your Amazon account and see if you can track down exactly what they're talking about. And I would encourage you to do this so that you don't continue to have these reports. Like, you want to make sure you're not listing on the wrong listing, or you're actually not buying inauthentic stuff. So if you bought stuff from a shady place down the way for a good deal, it might be inauthentic. I don't know. But if you're buying from a good retailer or a wholesaler of some sort, then it should be authentic product, right? Okay, but you want to just double check to make sure you don't want to have all of a sudden a month go by and you brushed this off and now you've got 6 inauthentic claims and it's going to be a big nightmare to get untangled. On your Amazon account dashboard, this is what it looks like, and this complaint's going to come right here. Product authenticity customer complaints. It's going to be populated right there. You want to make sure your dashboard is really good, and if you are confused at all by anything, hit this Call Me Now button. You used to be able to get, again, a phone number and go through different means, but right now they want you to hit this Call Me Now button if you have any questions. So if you're not sure what's missing from your plan of action, sometimes they will put notes in your account on, why things were kicked back. And if you are, again, hitting a stump, hit that Call Me Now and ask them some questions about what can you do better. Always be positive and try to, I want to make the best customer experience for Amazon customers. Can you tell me what's going on? Why was my plan of action rejected? Or can you tell me anything more about what needs to be submitted? What am I missing here? Sometimes they can help, sometimes they can't. All right, so you're going to click on Product Authenticity Customer Complaints, and it will show up there, and there will be like a little appeal button. Now we get into tracking down the receipt and what I did for that. I keep track of everything in my inventory lab. So when I type in this ASIN, I just copied and pasted it over, you can go ahead and see what was going on, where you bought things, and when you shipped it in. So this is what mine looks like for this. It was an OA item. It was pretty good. We were getting it for, it looks like either $3.72, and then it jumped up to $9. So, you can kind of see when you bought things. So I've got purchase date 5/17 and 5/19. I do try to be as accurate as I can with these, because I'm going to use these dates to kind of go and track down the receipts or make sure that I got them. Now it looks like if I tallied all these up, I had about 35. So I need to go find receipts and invoices for about 35 items. Amazon wants to see, if you've sold 300, they want to see receipts matching up 300. If you sold 3, then your receipt should add up to about 3 products. Now in my case, I wound up with 34, and I think it's because I had one refunded, so they were fine with the 34. Now we're getting into the Walmart side of where my receipts. Walmart is really nice. They have all of your purchases linked up with your account, and if it's not linked up, you can scan the receipt code and it will populate in there, which is really nice. Now for some reason my debit card is linked, and so all my home purchases show up, but my work purchases do not, so I have to scan the receipt and then they will show up in there. But my online will also show up here. But now that I'm in Q4 and I'm going to the stores and I'm buying quite a bit of stuff at Walmart, at the end I take my Walmart app, I scan the receipt so that it's in here. Walmart is probably the nicest laid out for purchase history on all the websites that I've seen, next to Amazon. Amazon's pretty good as well. But in your purchase history, you can go ahead and type in, I think I did Pioneer Woman or whatnot, to then narrow down my research to get, I'm looking for something to submit to Amazon here, right? So the first one that I did was I just clicked on like the view details after typing in the measuring cups and tried to submit this. So it looked kind of like this, where you could see the item right there. I blacked out my delivery, or I didn't black out my delivery or my thing, but for you guys I am. And this is what I submitted, and it was kicked back immediately. They did not like the submission. So it says we cannot accept this invoice because it does not include the items below, because it didn't like the way this was showing up. So I needed to go find something else. To reactivate, send the following information. Okay, so I went to my... Walmart is really good at showing your purchase history. All of your online purchases will show up in here. My debit card is linked, so this is my home purchase that I bought the other day for groceries when I was out shopping. And if it doesn't show up, my work stuff does not show up when I go in the store and purchase. You can scan the receipt. There's a barcode at the bottom of the receipt. You scan that and then it will link up to your account. This is really, really helpful. And especially during Q4 here, I've been going to a lot of Walmarts, doing a lot of purchases for work in the store. So I go ahead and scan that receipt and boom, it's linked in. When you go to return things or find receipts or whatever, it's just all nice in one place. So the first thing I did, which got rejected, prefaces with that, is I went in my search history and I typed in whatever, Pioneer Woman measuring cups, and found the order, so it would look like this, and I hit view details, and then it looks kind of like this, and I just saved this as a PDF. I printed it and printed to PDF, which is pretty easy to do, but however you can save a PDF, you got to figure out what you're working on. I work with Microsoft. I'm a Microsoft Windows person, and I just hit print and then print to PDF. So it got rejected because the image down here did not depict the correct item according to Amazon. We do not have enough information to address the issues. We cannot accept it because it does not include the items listed below, which is ridiculous because it's right there. You could even undo this tab and then it might have a little bit more description. But realistically, this was not a good submission because it did not have Amazon, or it did not have Walmart.com listed. It's got the little icon, so it's clearly a Walmart thing, but it just didn't have enough details on it. So the next thing I did was I went up to my Gmail, which is why I have all my emails, and I filter these. So all my purchases and whatnot, especially the spammy ones, I filter into kind of whatever junk, junk folder, so that I can go back and search for things at a later date. I can see what's shipped, what's not shipped. I can pull receipts. I can see the history of this item. This is really helpful if I need to go back and see what was the price, when did I purchase it, if I need to go pull a regular receipt. It's just handy. I don't delete those emails until usually after 5 years. So, typed in the Pioneer Woman 7-piece plastic. You can kind of see some of the history here, when it was purchased, when it was sold, and I now have some dates that I can go in and look at and get something better for Amazon. I tracked down all of my online orders for that included the Pioneer Woman, and then I printed these Gmails to PDF. So these were much nicer. It's spelled out a little bit nicer. We've got the order date. We've clearly got it from Walmart.com. I've got order numbers. It says Walmart in several different locations. It has my name. It's date and time stamped. When I scroll down a little bit, it's got the day it was delivered, and it's got the quantity. So on this date, I bought 12 at 8:44. So clearly I need to go fix my cost of goods and inventory lab. Pointing out my flaws here. We all have flaws. How much I paid, and it spells out Pioneer Woman 7-piece plastic measuring cups. So here you can clearly see that the title, the picture match up with what the ASIN is over on Walmart. I did the modifications here under PDF, When you open up a PDF, you can edit it, and for purposes of this video, I blanked out my address, and then when I submitted it, I went and took the highlighter and I just circled it, so that way they could see exactly what I was arguing. All right, then I got it kicked back again because I didn't have enough invoices. I had missed one, so I think I tried to submit 3 and I needed to find one more. So I went and I tracked down one more. In my downloads for the PDF, this is what they are, and this is how I titled them. So May 27th measuring cups, August 5th measuring cups, September 13th. Then I had to do a compressed PDF. If you've never compressed a PDF, you can go to smallpdf.com/compress. I just typed into Google like how to compress a PDF for free and found this because it was getting kicked back. I wasn't able to attach the PDF to the appeal button in the account health dashboard because it was too big. You have a size, I believe it was 10 megs, and so your thing needs to be less than 10 megs, and it was not, so I went ahead and compressed it, resaved it. Then when I went to go submit, I submitted the May 27th. I had a second order for May 27th, August 5th compressed, and September 13th. So I actually had 4 orders, and I had missed the May 27th because it was on the same day, and I just didn't see it at first. All right, then that got accepted. But in the description part under account health, those items that I told you they want to have, this is how I typed it out to them. Supplier, Walmart, phone number, 1-800, address, there's their address, website, walmart.com. Where did I pull the phone and the address? Google. Walmart's phone number, and it gives you this. Walmart's corporate address, and it gives you this. It does not state that anywhere on those Gmails, these 2 items. Sometimes your invoices will have them. If it's a major retailer like Target, Walmart, whatever, you're going to need to go look them up and paste them in. And that got accepted. It was... in hindsight, you're like, oh, I should have done done it correct the first time. And you learn as you go. And sometimes cutting corners will get you accepted. So you got to kind of weigh out how much effort you want to put into these things and keep trying. When people tell you to keep trying on Amazon, though, like keep trying and submitting, you got to tweak it up every time, though. The first time I submitted it and it wasn't quite the right layout. It was more screenshots of the Walmart website. The second time was the Gmail PDFs, so you could see that they liked the Gmail PDFs better than the other one. And then they were just saying that it wasn't enough. So then I needed to go back and find the other one. So each time I did my submission, it was slightly tweaked. You don't want to just keep copying and pasting the same darn thing in any sort of POA or case logs. You got to change it up a little bit, annotate something a little bit different, highlight something a little bit different, tweak something a little bit different so that it's not the same thing, or you will wind up getting the emails of you can't do any more submissions. Okay, so they reviewed and they decided I may continue to sell these items on Amazon, which is great. And then they give you things on like how to fix things. It takes usually a day or two to get your dashboard cleaned up and have everything go through and get settled out on your account. So if it doesn't clean up like immediately, don't freak out, but wait 24 hours. And if anything's still showing up, then you may need to open up a case and say, hey, this was fixed. You need to get this off of my account. That's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video walking through kind of some of these things on the IP side with customer complaints and what I did to submit. Receipts from Walmart do work with complaints from customers. It's not going to, again, ungating is a different beast. Receipts don't work for ungating, but you do wind up with these types of issues on occasion, and it's important to kind of keep organized, keep those documents. Whether you do paper receipts or electronic receipts, either way will work, and you'll do the same similar thing if you had paper receipts. I would take a picture of that receipt on a nice background And then again, use the PDF tool to go through and highlight what the agent on the other end should be looking at. If this video helped you out at all, please like and subscribe, and have an amazing